Hello children, today's experiment is PN junction diode voltage current characteristics. The symbol and the graph shown here. Apparatus required, two diodes, one ordinary diode and one Zener diode, and battery which can give 2 volt to 12 volt, a rheostat 100 ohm resistance, current carrying capacity 1 ampere or 2 ampere, one voltmeter 1 volt voltmeter and 10 volt voltmeter, 1 milliampere and 1 microampere ammeters, one breadboard or project board. The internal structure or the circuitry is shown here because breadboard to breadboard there may be slight variations. One digital multimeter and single stranded connecting wires, tester or screwdriver with a sliding knife or paper cutter, sandpaper and no. This is PN junction diode which we buy from electronic shops. PN junction means P for positive, N for negative. So it is PN material put together a semiconductor device that is called PN junction diode. Actually there are two types of materials available. One is electric device and another one is electronic device. This is a normal torch bulb with a tungsten filament inside. So that's an electric device. But this is an LED, light emitting diode. It's a semiconductor material. This is an electronic device. More about these electronic differences and I will discuss at a later stage. So the main purpose of doing this experiment is to study the voltage and current characteristics of this PN junction diode. The apparatus arrangement is almost similar to 10th standard Ohm's law experiment. 10th standard we might have used this type of an unknown resistance, maybe a resistive wire, constant and manganese, or maybe brass, or some material is just wound on this metallic stand, wooden or metallic terminals. So there will be a resistance here, and you might have used an ammeter, letter A written here, and a voltmeter, and this is a rheostat, and with a battery eliminator. So this battery eliminator is connected to AC mains 220 volt. That will convert this 220 volt AC is reduced and converted into DC 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. These many options are there, voltage option. The red positive and the black is negative. We are using red wire for positive and the green wire for negative to distinguish this plus and minus. So this plus and minus coming to the rheostat. Rheostat is once again a resistive wire. This resistive wire has got two ends. See the plus and minus coming here. And once this plus and minus connected here means a constant resistance is connected. So whatever voltage you are setting here, say 2, the 2 will be available across these ends. If we make it 4, the 4 will be available across these ends because this resistance wire and this battery they are connected parallel. End to end it is connected parallel. Now, since we have a moving head, this is a moving head. This slides on this resistive wire so that it can divide this resistance into two halves. Say R1 and R2. So when you bring this to this side, this much is R1 and this is R2. When you bring to this side, this is R1 and this is R2. So proportionally the voltage will also divide. So we can call this rheostat as a potential divider arrangement. So if you are keeping 2 volt here, this 2 can be changed from 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 up to 2. If you are making it as 4, the entire 4 volt we can divide it as 0.5 or 1, 1.52. So in any way we can divide this voltage which is coming from the battery into small fragments according to our requirement. So for that purpose we are using this rheostat. Voltmeter, it is used to measure the potential difference between two ends in any circuit. And the difference between this ammeter and this is ammeter A written, and here it is MA written. Small m stands for milligram, that 10 to the power minus 3. So this is ampere, current in ampere. This is a small current, so it is milliampere. We have a microampere also in the lab. So voltage, current, rheostat, battery. And the last one is this one. This is called breadboard, or this is a wrapper. It's written as project board. So higher secondary students, senior secondary level children, they use this breadboard for fixing components and doing experiments with electronic gadgets like diodes, transistors or ICs, etc. So here, this is something like a Microsoft Excel sheet where you can see the letters A, B, C, D printed here. A, B, C, D. Each row is labeled, named as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like that. Same way, these columns are also labeled as 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, like that. So like a Microsoft Excel sheet, we can fix a cell like R3 or B2 or C6. Here also we can fix the terminal. So this entire area is labeled with the A, B, C, D here and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Excel sheet is just different. Columns are labeled as A, B, C, D and the rows are labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is in the reverse order. Then in each segment, there are two segments are there. There is a separation line here, and between these two there is no connection. And here, out of this 5, in each column, 5 holes are there. These 5 holes are internally connected. Same way, here these 5. So this side to this side there is no connection. Okay. Then the top and bottom, it is exclusively used for power connection, power supply. This is for positive and the bottom line for negative. There are also 2 segments are there. You can see the gap. At the center there is a big gap. So this side and this side, these 2 halves there is no connection. And within this side, entire upper line, that is internally connected. Second line is also internally connected. Upper to lower there is no connection. Here also entire upper row is internally connected. Second also internally connected. But the first to second, bottom to top there is no connection. So in this way the breadboard is designed. Battery eliminator which converts 220 volt AC into 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 like a DC voltage. Okay, it's called the battery eliminator. The same voltage, say 2 volt, can be further divided into 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 like that using a potential divider arrangement, or it is called the rheostat. And it is coming to the diode. Diode, this black color component is called the diode. And to study the voltage we have a voltmeter. To study the current we have a milliammeter. Now comes forward bias and reverse bias. Forward bias means this is here. This is the diode P and N. This is a P side and this is N side. If you look at this semiconductor device, which is black in color, here you can see a ring, a silver ring. So the silver ring is N. The other side is P. So in this way we can differentiate the P side from the N side. So in this PN junction diode, my right side there is a ring. So silver ring is there. So that silver ring side is N and the other side is P. So this P and this is N. Now if this P side is connected to battery positive and N side is connected to battery negative, this is called forward bias. So when a circuit is, when a diode is forward biased means the P side is connected to battery positive, N side is connected to battery negative. To study the voltage and current, we may connect a ammeter here, say milliammeter. For ammeter also there is a plus and minus is there. Since this side, negative side is near to the ammeter, this side this is minus and the other side is plus. If you want to study the voltage either across the battery or across the diode, when you are varying the voltage, we need a voltmeter. So take the voltmeter, connect it parallel. Again plus and minus will come. So since this side is plus, this side is plus, the nearest side this is plus, opposite side is minus. So connecting an ammeter and a voltmeter across this diode in this circuit will give you the voltage current characteristics of this diode when it is forward bias. And when it is forward bias, this is the voltage and this is the current. It will not follow a straight line like what we studied in 10th standard Ohm's law. This is the experiment we are doing first in the 10th standard Ohm's law. When you are increasing the voltage either across a resistor or across a bulb, the current will also increase like this. Voltage is proportional to current, or voltage is equal to I into R, where R is the proportionality constant, that is called the resistance, which is measured in ohms, ohm, that's a unit. This all we studied in 10th standard. So since this resistance wire or this bulb strictly following this Ohm's law relationship, V proportional to I or I proportional to V, we can call this as a ohmic device. It's a ohmic device. But the diode which we are using here, or the LED which we are using here, this type of electronic components, they do not follow this Ohm's law, straight line graph. No, they have their own graphs. That's why we are calling it as a characteristic graph for a particular device. So our experiment is to study the characteristic, voltage current characteristic of this diode. That means it's a unique graph for this particular component. So in the semiconductor industry, each component has got their own unique characteristics. So how it will be here in this case, this is the voltage and this is the current. Voltage is measured in terms of volt, but it will be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8 like that. It will be over with this 1 volt. And current will be measured in milliampere. As you see from this scale, say 2.5, 5, then 7.5, then 10. It may go up to 15 or 20 like this. So now when the diode is forward biased, Pn. This is your milliammeter. Okay, it's connected to a battery. This arrow mark drawn across this battery shows that the battery voltage can be varied. So it will be 2 volts, 2 volt battery. And then to study the voltage, we can connect a voltmeter here. Let it be plus and minus. So now when you increase this voltage from 0 to 1 volt in steps of 0.1, the graph will be somewhat like this. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, there is no current. Current is 0. And from point 4 onwards, slowly the current increases, and by point 6, point 65, it shoots up. See, the current is going in. This unique graph explains the voltage current characteristics of a PN junction diode. I hope you are following. So we are expecting such a graph from this experiment. For that, the diode is taken, and this rheostat is bringing you the supply here. This is positive. As I told you earlier, the entire line is internally connected, so that positive comes to the diode, and from the diode negative it is going to the ammeter, milliammeter, and then milliammeter negative is coming here, joined with this green wire. The green wire is connected to the battery negative. Okay. Then study the voltage. The voltmeter has got the positive and negative. The voltmeter positive is connected to the diode positive where it comes, and negative is once again joined with the battery negative or the rheostat negative going back to the battery. If you want to clarify this particular rheostat component, if you have a battery, say 2 volts, that 2 volt is connected across this 2 ends of, say, A and B ends of the rheostat, so that this is positive, this side is negative. The potential difference between this A and B is 2 volts. Now this upper moving part, the moving head, it comes here. So as you slide this upper moving head, the voltage changes. So by default, since this is positive, this side is also positive. Now that goes to the diode. Diode P region, and this is diode N region, followed by the milliammeter. Milliammeter, since it is coming from plus, this will be plus, this is minus. That is directly going and joining with the battery negative. Okay. Now to study the voltage, we may connect a voltmeter. Since this is minus, this is also minus, this is also plus. So PN junction diode. This arrow mark shows the direction of flow of current, and this side is P and this side is N. that is forward bias because it is connected to battery positive and battery negative through this current, milliampere. Here we have an LED, this positive, red positive, green negative, battery 2 volt is selected. So when I move this rheostat, the voltage is increasing. Now the LED started glowing. Okay. If you see the working of this rheostat, see this is the positive. So the current comes through this terminal, it enters into the coil. It travels through few turns, around 7 to 10 turns, and then exiting this through this terminal, and then available here. So it is coming to the diode. So when this length is less, resistance is less, current is more, or voltage is more, so it's glowing. Or when I pull this to right side, here the current has to travel more distance, so the current will be decreasing, LED is not glowing. So when I bring this to left side, LED is glowing. Now keeping the same position, if I change this plus and minus like this, turning the legs, connecting across the same potential difference, that LED is not glowing. That means this LED glows only when it is forward biased. So LED glows only when it is forward biased. Not only LED, all semiconductor devices will work only when it is forward biased. That means P should be connected to positive, N should be connected to negative. That's why all our electronic gadgets, there is a fixed plus and minus terminal while connecting to the DC supply. So this is our LED. Now this supply we are giving to the diode. Concentrate on this voltage and milliammeter. Let me increase the voltage. See, when it is moved slightly, the needle, voltmeter needle has come to 0.1. So 0, 0.2, between 10 divisions are there. So the least count of this voltmeter is 0.2 by 10, that is 0.02. Same way for milliammeter, 0 and 2.5, between 10 divisions are there. So it is 0.25 milliampere. That is the least count. So now the voltage has come to 0.1, no current. Now it has come to 0.2 volts, still no current. 0.3, there is no current. Then the diode is not conducting now. 0.4, the milliammeter needle slightly turned, moved from the 0. So showing one line. One line is one division. That is 0.25 milliampere. That means the diode just started conducting. So now if I proceed further from 0.4 towards 0.5, the current reached 2.5 milliampere, and from 0.5 to 0.6, the current crossed 7.5 milliampere, and from towards 0.7, the milliammeter is going beyond 15 milliampere, that is beyond the scale. That means the high current is now flowing through this milliammeter beyond this 15 milliampere. So it is not advisable to keep this 0.7 voltage across this diode. So the current is more than the maximum limit of this milliammeter. So I am pulling it back. So not like a ohmic device, a bulb or a resistance. Here the ammeter is not showing any current up to 0.4. So from 0.4 onwards the current increases. This is what I explained in the graph. Up to certain distance there is no current. After that the current is increasing. This is voltage and this is current. Current is in milliampere, this is in volts. That means this diode is not conducting, or it is an insulator up to certain voltage. Say 0.4 to 0.5, it is an insulator. And then from 0.5 onwards it starts conducting, and here it has become a very good conductor. This portion is become a very good conductor, high current is flowing. So that means below a certain voltage it is an insulator, above that voltage it has become a conductor. That is why we are calling it as semiconductor. It's semiconductor means it's neither conductor nor insulator. It comes in between. So below a certain voltage it is insulator, above that voltage it is becoming a conductor. This voltage we can decide. So each semiconductor component will have this type of characteristics. That's why we are calling them as non-ohmic devices. This diode is not obeying Ohm's law, or it has got its own graph. Ohm's law graph we all know that, a straight line graph. But here this is not a straight line graph, it is a curve. It's going like this. So the forward biased characteristics of a PN junction diode explains the non-conducting nature of the PN junction diode up to certain voltage, say 0.4 to 0.5, and after that the current is slowly increasing and then shooting in. So this bend portion, it's called a knee voltage. The voltage at which the diode starts conducting, that is called a knee voltage, and this knee voltage is theoretically 0.7 volt for silicon and 0.3 volt for germanium. So there are two components commonly used in semiconductor industry, silicon and germanium. For silicon this knee voltage is 0.7 volt and for germanium it is 0.3 volts. The specialty of silicon and germanium, you all must be knowing it. Silicon, the atomic number is 14 and germanium it is 32. And if you write the electronic configuration, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2. So 4, 10, 12, 14. Here you see 3s2, 3p2. This is K, L, M orbits. So 2 plus 2 it is 4, the valence is 4. Like that for germanium also, if you write, you will come to know that the valence is 4. So this valency 4 elements are used in the semiconductor industry as the base. Here it is silicon. So either silicon or germanium can be used. So this is all about the forward bias characteristics of a PN junction diode. Next we have to move to reverse bias characteristics of the same. The reverse bias means the circuit will be just reversed. The diode will be just reversed. Plus minus will be changed. So the diode negative will go to battery positive and diode positive will go to battery negative. That we will see next.
Right.
Here we are going to study the reverse bias characteristics of this PN junction diode. So as usual, PN junction diode, this is P and this is N. When you reverse this, it will become like this. This is N and this is P. The remaining circuit will remain the same. Battery positive, battery negative. This is the rheostat. This is the upper head. So this is positive and this is negative. And here we have ammeter. The difference is there we use the milliammeter and here we have used microammeter. Micro means 10 to the power minus 6. And since it is coming from plus, this will be plus and minus. Connect. To study the voltage, there will be a voltmeter. Minus, minus, plus. So one difference I told you. There it was milliammeter and here we are using microammeter. There the diode was forward biased and here it is reverse biased. And the third one is where the voltmeter which we used, the range of the voltmeter was from 0 to 1 volt. And here the voltmeter starts from 0 and ends with 10 volt. So we have used 0 to 10 volts voltmeter. There 1 volt only we are giving because by 0.7 volt the diode is conducting fully. So that's why we used only up to 1 volt. So here we may require 10 volt or 15 volt or sometimes 30 volt also. So accordingly we have to choose the voltmeter range. Range of the voltmeter we can decide. So here I have taken a 10 volt range voltmeter and ammeter is a microammeter starting from 0 and ending with 100. Micro means 10 to the power minus 6. And this is the diode and this is the diode, a black color diode which we used earlier. And this is looking like orange color with a ring. Once again the ring is your N side and the other side is positive. What is the difference between these two I will explain you at the end. So the diode is connected. Now circuit is explained. Now the graph, the anticipated graph. Since the diode is reversed, the voltage is applied negative and the current is also negative. So in the forward characteristics we studied in the first quadrant, where the voltage is positive and the current is also positive. Here I need voltage negative and current is also negative. So I have to come to third quadrant of this graph, and this current is microampere current, and the voltage is not like a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Here it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that, all in volts. Okay. Here also it is in volts only, but it starts from 0 and ends somewhere at 1 volt. After that there is no meaning in drawing the graph. But here the graph may continue like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that to any extent according to the diode which you are choosing. So now when you start this experiment, for 1 volt or 2 volt or 3 volt or 4 volt, there will be no current. There will be no current. Or if at all there is a current, you can draw a line. You may get a line which is almost parallel to this x-axis or maybe overlapping with x-axis like this. Let us see that part now. Battery 2468. You can see that 8 volt, 6 volt is taken, chosen, or here 6 instead of 6 we can go to 8 also. So now if I move this rheostat head towards right, concentrate on this voltmeter and this micrometer. Now it is at 1 volt, no current. It's now 2 volt, no current. Around 3 volt, no current. Around 4 volts, still there is no current. It's 5, no current. Reaching 6. As soon as we crossed that 6, the current reached around 50 microampere. Once again, see this up to 4, no current. Slowly moving towards 5, no current. Reaching 6, no current. And so once we cross this 6.2, 6.4, see, the current started and it's coming to around 100 microampere within no time. The voltage is now around 6.4, 6.6, the current reached 100 microampere. In this way, the PN junction diode works when it is reverse biased. If you draw the graph, it will be coming like this, a line parallel to x-axis, and all of a sudden the line will come down, the current will come down. A very large negative current is flowing in the reverse direction. Okay. At this point is called breakdown voltage. The voltage at which the diode breaks is called the breakdown voltage, and here it is around 6.2 or 6.2 to 6.4 volt it breaks. So in the market 6 volt Zener means it breaks at 6 volts. 12 volt Zener means it breaks at 12 volts. The advantage of having such a breakdown voltage is we can use this as a voltage regulator. For example, if you choose this Zener diode as in your mobile charger, you know it is a 5 volt USB port only we are using. So if you put a 5 volt Zener diode at the end of the adapter or the eliminator which you are using, beyond 5 it will not, the voltage will not go. So even if high voltage fluctuations are there in your home, that will not affect the charging unit of your mobile. It will be fixed at 5 volts. If your laptop is at 19 volt or 20 volts, you keep a Zener diode of 19 volt or 20 volt of breakdown. So the diode breaks at 20 volts, so that the laptop will always get current, it will be charged. Even if the line voltage is going above that, the Zener will cut always at the breakdown voltage. So the Zener diode or the diode which is always reversely connected will break at a particular point, that is called the breakdown voltage. Now let me explain the difference between the black color diode which we used in the earlier experiment and this diode which is used in this experiment. This is ordinary diode, If you connect this ordinary diode, it will also break a certain voltage. But the problem is, once it reaches that breakdown voltage, we cannot reuse this diode again. We have to throw it. So once the crystal structure is damaged, we cannot retrieve it. So we have to put it in the dustbin only. But this Zener diode, as I explained to you, 2 times I repeated the experiment. Again and again and again, we can use this Zener diode multiple times. So that's the difference between ordinary diode and Zener diode. This is exclusively manufactured for working at the breakdown voltage. Always used in the reverse biased condition only. If you use this diode in the forward biased condition, the graph will be same as the earlier one. So this is exclusively for the reverse characteristics. Ordinary diode also can be used for the reverse characteristics. The only difference is, after every experiment, we have to throw this diode. We have to buy a new diode to do the experiment, either for forward characteristics or reverse characteristics. We have to keep on buying and replacing this diode. That is a drawback. Instead of that, if you use this type of Zener diodes, a little costlier than this one. So the experiment can be performed any number of times. So with this, the PN junction diode, both forward bias and reverse bias characteristics, you have to draw a graph after taking required number of readings, and then you can calculate the resistance by taking a slope from the graph, or we can see the tangent drawn at this point. You can find out the breakdown voltage. You can draw forward characteristics and reverse characteristics. With the help of geometry, by taking the slope, we can calculate what is the resistance, forward resistance of the diode. That also either at a particular point called static resistance or over a period, that is called dynamic resistance. So if you are drawing a slope, you will get a dynamic resistance. If you take it from the particular point, simply dividing voltage by current, you will get the static resistance. So static resistance and dynamic resistance, it may vary from here to here. It's not a standard value. It will keep on changing. According to the place from where you are drawing the diagram, the value will change. Even then, since the current here it is in milliampere current, the value will be very less. The diode becomes a conductor. It is giving you milliampere current. Please note, from the standard Ohm's law experiment, the current is in ampere, 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere like that. But here it is milliampere only. That means this PN junction diode, though it has become a conductor, it is not a good conductor as a copper wire. Once again it is repeated, circuit diagram with the diode symbol, forward bias, in the breadboard how the diode is connected with other terminals. In this way the whole arrangement looks like. Then here is the procedure, how to write the voltmeter and the milliammeter, the least count values, step by step procedure, followed by the sample reading. Here you can see the voltage starts from 0.4 and reaches the maximum by 0.6, 0.7. Graph will come somewhat like this. Use appropriate scaling. Reverse bias, see the difference between the circuit diagrams. The diode is just reversed with the battery voltage 2 to 10 volt. And then the breadboard also, the diode is just reversed. Milliammeter to micrometer, there is a change. Procedure also, voltmeter least count is not at, micrometer least count is not at. Reverse bias is proceeding, and we are getting the breakdown voltage. Here are the sample reading, 6.4 the current starts and 6.6 90, and then after that beyond the range. So the downward progressing line shows the breakdown of that. Resistance is calculated in forward bias and reverse bias simply by dividing voltage by current. And the values, see the difference also, because the forward bias current is milliampere and here it is a microampere. So that difference reflects as ohm to kilo ohm. Precautions and source of errors are also briefed. Take it as a reference. Thank you.